Alright, it is basically 12 or noon, but it's 11:56 a.m., January the 22nd, 2019. Um, let's see here. So I talked a lot about things, and I did discuss that I don't quite necessarily trust you and your motives. But I'm not saying I don't want to trust you. I'm not saying that I don't think that this, like, I'm gonna be looking eventually. It's like whoever's out there, that's who I find, you know? Um, Outside of that, I don't want to use the word love to mean, um, I suppose I should start saying I like you, but it's not quite apt. I like you right now, but I don't like you. And I'm trying to get my own shit together. You seem to have all your shit together, still doing all this stuff, still, it feels like it. I mean, yeah, you're going through a lot of emotions right now, but I mean, it seems like you were still able to do a lot. Um, Not trying to invalidate the feelings that you're feeling. I just wish I was able to be as functional as you when it comes down to um, when I'm feeling shit. Because when I feel shit, I crash, and I crash hard. Anyways, yeah, I don't have any plans for today. There is stuff right now. Let's see here. There is Tuesday the 22nd comedy farewell play tour. That costs money, so that's not gonna happen. That costs money, so that's not gonna. Oh, none of those are possible. There you go. Yep. So I might just go wander around and walk, you know. Yeah. Hoping you're having, a day that you can do well with. Um, Hopefully you're not quite as filled with rage and suicide and all of that. Um, 'Cause that sucks. Those are really bad negative feelings. I don't want you to feel bad. Uh, Not that I really control any of that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Um, I do hope to eventually meet you. You're an incredibly interesting person to me. By all accounts, you are one of the most interesting and amazing person that, you know, I've ever had the pleasure of even thinking of. Although I've never met you and we've never really talked. So that's something. Should give you some sort of indication about how, um, interesting this whole thing is to me. And I'm focusing more on this when in reality I should really focus in on what I should be doing to get better. Um, like what can I be doing today that gets me out of the house? What can I be, going around, talking to people? Probably not going to happen. I really need to sell stuff though, but I just can't for whatever reason get myself to sell these things. The thing is, I get this feeling that you want something so much more from me. You want me to direct you. You want me to give you orders. You want me to have only eyes for you and, play around only with you and all these things. And, like I can't do that, you know? So there's that. But you did. Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that. I just, can't, I defaulted to that because that's what we were used to, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna try my best to make sure it doesn't happen again, okay? Because I can't do it, It's not a good idea for us to proceed doing that, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna listen to some music. Hopefully you're there. Hopefully you'll give me something that isn't just dark. Can you open up? Be a little more, I don't know. I understand that you're going through a lot, so it's not exactly easy for you. Yeah. I hope you find, everything good for you. You have all my money, apparently. Would I use it to better the world? Hell fucking yeah. I'd use it, grow more money, use it to get, there's nothing saying that you can't make money while helping the world out. Because ultimately that's what's going to happen, because of how long it's going to take to really change some of these things. But it's your money. You stole it from my ideas and stuff, but it is yours. Ultimately. And so, yeah. Just don't try anything rash, please. I'm still figuring myself out. You're still figuring yourself out. They still have their selves going on. And ultimately, everything right now, if I were to say anything, is stuff is so open to change. Things could change within a day. When it comes down to everybody's moods and feelings, and if I remember this, if I don't remember that, so it's just, I'm trying to eliminate the ability for me to get manipulated by any particular force. So, yeah, try your best, please. Don't let yourself get too down. If you can, I'm here for you if you want to talk. Maybe vent some things, but try not to go too far. I am working on my own stuff, Hello. I want to talk to you for a while. More specifically, just you, not everybody. See how you're doing. I'm kind of out. I don't know what's going on with my head today. My head just doesn't feel good. Same with my stomach. Anyways, got a call, or not a call, but an email from the Indo shop. Hopefully it'll get stuff reshipped. It seems like you're doing a shit ton of work and collaborating with a lot of people, which is pretty amazing. I don't know, I feel kind of useless today. Like, I want to go do something, but I don't really have anything on my mind specifically that I want to do. I suppose I can go wander around and whatnot, but yeah, you want me to whisk me away? Fuck, I don't care who does. At this point, I don't. Everybody wants to say, oh, you're lying and this person is lying. Everybody has their own thoughts on what I should be doing. And I feel like at this point, it's more or less just what happens, happens. Because I don't really have the ability to change much, I feel. Yeah, I'm obviously having a fun time just scrolling through Reddit, not Facebook. Fuck Facebook. Seriously, fuck Facebook. About 4chan. 4chan, I never really go to any of the boards that are actually, for subjects. I just use it for porn, basically. That's really all I use it for. There's not much of any good conversation. People are really just antagonistic. There's no real open discussion of any kind. And when there is the rare thing that does happen to be good, it's few and far between. Just, I feel like 4chan is more or less just a giant thing of hatred. But like, it's totally superior in terms of how you're able to consume content. Just straight up. Drop my mouse there. Like, yeah, it is a better image board. Bar none. I don't think anything can really touch it, truthfully. It's one of the reasons why I tend to watch that or use it. God damn, I want some fucking cannabis. Like, just, I feel like shit. Yeah, you get to hear me pee now. I'm either, like, direct into there, or I'm, like, on the side. Yeah, it really depends on what I want to do that day. Why are you doing this? I have no idea. Normally I'd pause, but I don't fucking give a shit right now, and that's the reason why. Soak it up. Soak it up. Gave you a nice little hair treatment. It'd be wonderful. It's the greatest. It's great. It's fucking cold in here. Oh, man. I'm definitely sore, but I'm not as sore as I used to be after physical therapy, which is nice. What am I thinking about? I don't know. I'm gonna go sit in my room for a while. Lay down on my bed. Thinking about getting drunk tonight. Truthfully. Maybe spilling some beans. I'd love for you to just fucking come and whisk me away, kidnap my ass, love for someone to just take me away from all this shit. But you know, that's asking for a lot. It's really asking for quite a lot. So, I'm gonna snuggle up in my covers. I don't know, I just feel like I want to cuddle with someone today. Yeah, I just want to hold someone. There's nothing really sexual about it, I just, need a hug. I haven't hugged anybody since my mom, and that was back in 2018. Yeah. I don't want to hug her ever again in the rest of my entire life. As far as I'm concerned, she can go get bent until she fixes herself. Yeah, I hope to never involve her with my children. Although I'm sure she'll be nice, but, you know, that's this thing. It's like your grandparents will be nice to your grandchildren, but you know, they were definitely dicks to you, and that's that, you know, that little change. And I'm sure your children are like, oh, they're so mean, and grandma and grandpa are nice, and that, of course, makes you feel worse because, you know, clearly I'm trying my best here, kid. You know, you don't even know the realities of what I'm trying to do just to get you to be happy. Which kind of also plays together with me somewhat, I must admit. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the sun, thinking about my people. You know? I helped create a lot of this. So, yeah, I have a duty to you guys, you know, I want you guys to all do well. Your leader is not really doing well. That's the only thing. You know, like mentally, it's been a bit of a struggle the last few days. I've been trying my best to sort of keep my depression and my anger and resentment towards the whole situation from creeping in and becoming arrogant and annoyed and saying things that I ultimately don't want to say, you know, because they're not true. It's just I feel really angry, and I know like these thoughts aren't true. I just, you know, I'm so angry I just can't help but think them and just try and attack. They say I shouldn't trust you. They say I shouldn't want you. Well, that's not necessarily true now, is it? But at the same time, I also want them, and I want everybody. I want everybody to join together. But I want my one and only, you know. Sure, there'll be other things, you know, going on, but it's my one and only, you know. My right hand, my person, the one for me. I miss that feeling. I miss having that feeling. Back in 2017, it was one of the few feelings that kept me alive. Having the feeling of somebody be there by my side. I'm by your side. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. And I still love you, you know. But you know what I mean when I say love right now. Hopefully. I like you. But you know, it's not to that extent. I like all the people. I believe everybody can be saved to a degree. You may think that you've done terrible things or something. I don't know what's weighing on your soul. Is it me? Was it me that's weighing on your soul? Or is it your actions, your thoughts, the voices? What's going on, you know? Because I want to help you. you seem to be needing another treatment for your stuff. And hope it goes well. Hopefully you can, there are some, scientific studies I'm sure you've seen about macrophages and getting rid of the tumors, ability to get blood vessels and whatnot. So that could also possibly be a good thing to look into, but very preliminary right now, incredibly experimental. So yeah, be careful. If try your best. I'm rooting for you to succeed in everything you do. Unless it's meant to hurt others, in which case I'd really highly discourage you doing that. We're all trying to get better, I think. I feel like you're trying to get better. And you seem to have not be quite as bad today. I hope that you utilize some of the techniques and maybe the hypnosis to help you out. A good rule of thumb is to cut off the part waking up, and then, I don't know how many minutes it was, but, do basically your full 8 hours with the last one being the waking up part. That way you're able to, because for me, hypnosis has been very nice at night, when I'm asleep. It does seem to help out. So I suggest doing that for yourself as well. It can help. It can be, if you don't want to use mine, use somebody else's. There are good hypnosis stuff out there. That's what I'm comfortable with. Maybe you're able to be comfortable with the other person in the room, trying to help you out and hypnotize you. I'm personally not. I'm unable to relax enough to be able to get into a trance state. So yeah. Would you need a massage? Dude, I'd fucking love a massage right now. Are you kidding me? Man. Fucking yeah. The problem for me with massages is that it's actually really, really hard for me to not get an erection. I don't know why. It doesn't matter who's touching me, but apparently the releasing of all the stress and anxiety and all that stuff with a massage just immediately gives me an erection. And it's kind of hard. No pun pun kind of intended. But it is kind of hard to, Ryan, during physical therapy was, doing my neck, and, I started getting a little chubby, straight up. It wasn't because of Ryan, just straight up automatic response, for me, for some reason. To turn me on, it doesn't take much, physical contact, For instance, this is going to be not the best thing, but Sue, my friend Sue, she was being clingy, and I didn't really, I just thought I was being nice, but I kind of realized that she started wanting more. But before that point, her getting clingy was enough to just be able to get me going. I didn't have any feelings towards her. It's just, so yeah, just another physical person that touching me is apparently enough of a pretty strong reaction, which is to be expected considering how little a physical affection I've ever gotten in my entire life. That wasn't negative, so, your body adapts. Yeah. I just want to hold someone and nuzzle on their hair, falling asleep here. My stomach hurts, a lot. or not a lot, but it's getting a lot of acidity to it, and I don't know. You keep wanting me to get that oil, and I think I'll have to do it next. I'm not sure what the oil is supposed to be for. Is it like an injection? Is it like for probiotics? What is going on that you want me to get the oil? What are you planning? See, I'm scared because I'm wondering if you're going to put something into it. You know what I mean? And I just don't want you to give me any more drugs other than the actual supplements. What I would prefer, honestly, is to be able to go to a doctor and get an appropriate response from them, but I'm guessing that that's probably not going to happen, but I could be wrong. What is an appropriate response? Not hiding things. Like, I know shit's up. I know there's shit in my test results. Like, how do you know? I don't know. That's what's the problem. Like, I'm paranoid because I know there are people around me that are a part of the whole, like, government watching me. And they're on no uncertain terms of basically just, unless yes, or unless, like whatever, it feels like whatever test will always just be changed. But the fact is that I don't know if that's true or not. It's just my paranoia speaking, So I have to trust them and believe that they want to try and help me, and that's really, really difficult for me to do. Like, I trust some of them, but I also trust you to a degree. I'm opening up that. I'm trying to get a, basic dialogue going. Like, I shut everything off last night early because I was just so tired, but also wired at the same time. It's all very strange. God, my head hurts today. My God, who is your God? The God inside of my head, motherfucker. I should say that appropriately, as in, like, we all are gods, so the God that I'm referring to is myself. Oh me. Oh my God. Oh me. Oh me. My me. Oh me my. There's like, why refer? Like, dude, there are some serious, like, significant Christians on this side, and I just can't. And that's the thing, like, I prefer to have people around me that are a little more close to how I feel about the world, as we all do. But, persons that can challenge our thoughts and feelings, every once in a while, which you definitely do challenge my thoughts and feelings pretty often. I've been trying to more or less stay away from the whole music side of things because I've been having trouble understanding exactly what it is you want, and you keep saying that you're bleeding out. If it's your emotion or like, I don't know. I don't want to keep hurting you, but you keep saying that I am. You keep saying that I. With my words and everything, I'm cutting deep and I'm making you feel worse, and I really want you to know that I am mostly over everything except for the fact that you have my money. Like, truthfully. Like, that's the only one thing that's kind of sticking out, and I'm like, money is a sore subject for me, though. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, I could go for some physical affection today. It would be nice. I'd settle for a nice fucking couple hits for my for my wax, over there, but I don't have any more cannabis. Man, I wish I had money. Would you guys buy my shit? I doubt it. Doubt anybody would. That's kind of another reason why, like, I haven't been trying to even sell things, because I'm like, nobody's gonna buy anything I have. Who gives a shit anyways? It's all junk, and why even put forth the effort? And, that's negative thinking. I'm trying to challenge those thoughts while motivate myself to actually do the act of, just taking a couple of photos and listing things. It's really not that hard, honestly. It's just getting, like, the motivation, like, the money. When I say, like, I don't care about money, I apparently need to start caring. Like, I need that money drive, man. That drive like I had back in 2017 for just getting me my cheddar, you know? At first it was for some, just getting a job, but like any way I can get it, I feel like would be beneficial at this point, because then I can utilize it. And it'd be so funny to have them suddenly be like, where the fuck did he go? Like he just went over to a concert in the middle of nowhere. And it was like, how are we supposed to go get to him? Because they're all basically law enforcement and other government and other people working together on that end, I think. So they can't really just, follow if I were to suddenly just do something without without much planning. So you want to escape. But see, the thing is, I don't know what I'm escaping to. I just want to escape this feeling of being alone, being unloved and unwanted. It's really all I feel for my parents, siblings. It's rough. I am starting to lose some good weight, though. Like, just checking myself out in the mirror, I'm like, hey, there's some muscle and there's a little less flab. I'm enjoying that. I'm thinking about Liz 103. Dude, she's a Reddit celebrity when it comes down to that whole thing, and she's been looking like really damn good. She's definitely been working out. You can tell that she's been making progress, and I kind of, like, she's sort of an inspiration to me right now. I know that sounds weird, like, why don't you have an inspiration as a guy? And I'm like, because guys are a little toxic. Like, you can't lift this, you gotta do this. Whereas, women that are on that whole, like, just wanting to look better journey, you're a lot nicer about it, I think. Plus it's nice to look at a woman more than I'm looking at a giant. Like, men like to get this huge bulk, and I've never been, since I was a teenager, and I had those severe feelings of inadequacy with myself for not being buff enough, not being thin enough, not being tall enough, not, like I have this wrong with my face, my spile's shit, and, like I'm awkward, and I smell, and all this stuff, Which, for some of you, that might hit really close to home, especially if you're in your awkward teen years. This is what I'm going to tell you if you're having problems with zits, if you're having issues, with recurring pimples, anything like that. You're going to need to sleep. Seriously. Go to bed at a decent time. Yes, your friends will keep playing. You're going to be more energized. Your hormones, which are the big things, your hormones, are going to finally start stabilizing correctly. You get your proper 6 to 10 hours. That's the rough limit. Like, if you're one of those lucky fucks like I am, apparently, where you only need your 6 hours most of the time, or, you're an average person that's more around the 7 to 8, and then some of them are even, more to the 9 and 10 area. It really depends on the individual.
But, get your sleep properly sorted. It's a good idea to have that on point. Try and remember that you need to wash your face twice a day. Twice a day. Like, wash any part that's getting that. So if that means taking a whole shower and washing everything, that's what you're going to do. Do not use antimicrobial. Do not use anti stuff at first. Okay? Get away. You can just use regular soap or and water or detergent. Don't use Axe body wash. That's just dumb. Dove Men Plus Care Minerals and Sage is a great smell. It works very well. It's good deodorant too. It's a great deodorant. I suggest using that. But yeah, wash your body, get your scrub behind your ears, meaning get in your private parts and fucking wash them shits. Okay? If you're not alright. Like, women though, like, you have a special cleaning thing, look that up. I don't know, just for men, if you've got foreskin, get underneath your damn foreskin and clean that shit, okay? Don't be thinking, oh, you know what, I'm gonna find a lady that's just gonna love it. I'm like, first off, you gotta find a lady, and to be able to attract one, you're gonna need, just, that's up to them. Personally, I do love the whole idea of a woman that's just, like, in love with your smell, like, that just straight up cannot, handle. Like, even if you smell, like, really yucky, they just love it. I love that. I mean, that acceptance of your, it's taboo, but it's also, like, you're accepting you even at your worst. Because I used to have the issue of, being bullied like a motherfucker, because when I was growing up, I used to poop my pants. So, I also didn't brush my teeth, and so I just smelled. And so now I have, like, a very big thing, very big trigger about, like, whenever my mom says I smell or anything like that, it immediately pisses me off. But it is something I'm working on. I realize that, it's not up to me to assault. That's right, assault everybody with my just quite frankly, just rank smell. So, but that's the thing, I don't really smell all that bad most of the time. Like, it's really more or less when I work out or stuff like that. And even then it can take days. I'm going off on a tangent again. I'm sorry. That is one of those things. It's hard to, like, put in. You'd be surprised though, like, in manga, or not manga, but actually, yeah, some manga, and but a lot of doujin and hentai, they reference it, but they never really put it into a tag. Like, the woman gets down, goes to blow the guy, and she just, basically says, "Oh my God, the smell's driving me wild." And it's the equivalent of, "It feels so good, I can't stop my hips." It's there, like, all the time. It's just, like, not to shatter your illusion of it, but there are some things that are basically said consistently throughout so many different doujin and manga and all that it's pretty funny. Once you have it pointed out, it's like, whoa, oh yeah, oh my God. Or some version of it. You'd be surprised at how exact, like, "It feels so good, I can't stop thrusting my hips," that the man says, because the woman's like, "Please slow down." Like, which by that point I'm also kind of like, that's a little rapey, don't you think? It's a bit rapey right there. And then there's a lot of stuff that's, like, just straight up rape. Like, just straight up sexual assault. And, like, the woman will say no, and then the guy will just straight up push through that. Like, you don't do that in real life. That's assault. That's sexual assault and rape. Yeah, don't fucking do that. Now, there's something to be said if you have an established partner, you're with a girlfriend, and you decide, hey, you know what, we want to try this. You discuss it ahead of time. And make sure you have it on video that you're discussing and accepting this. I mean that wholeheartedly. And don't be afraid to type out a contract, because if stuff goes wrong or one party feels this or that, then it's extremely bad for you. The law is just not on your side. Yeah. And it can be messy. It's very messy. So you got to be careful with that. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that some of you decided to try and have my baby, and I'm really sorry that I kind of tried to force that whole dumbness. Just my own fucking ineptitude. Can't believe I thought that that's what was needed. What am I wondering about? Oh, I think that you went off on a bender today. I feel like that. I don't know. A bender of what, though? I don't know. I feel like someone's, so I just get the feeling someone's on a bender of something. Meaning they're just constantly doing like a substance or an action or a thought. Just something just keeps getting repeated over and over and over. Is that me? Are you repeating me? I hope it's good. And it helps you out. And it's not me just fucking saying just terribly funny shit. I don't want to be memed into existence. That would be not great. What do you think I should do? What are your thoughts? I know you want me to just escape, drive away, and figure out something, but that's just not going to happen. I think we're both well aware that it's going to take me to sell stuff and then randomly go to a concert. Would you be there? Would you grab my hand, take me to a tent, have your way with me? As I'm drugged out of my mind. Yeah. Is that how you want your first experience to go? Not really, personally. But I would love to be, basically lured into a tent. Just to have some fun times. Wake up with a woman around my arm, and then decide to live each other's life forever. It sounds absolutely pleasant, doesn't it? Like, MDMA with Viagra. Could you imagine? You get rid of the whiskey dick that is your MDMA serotonin dick. That's one of the things that with when I drink my grapefruit juice and then I try the Zofran, I actually have a harder time staying erect. So I have to, sort of do some kegels to try and force some blood up into the area. But I'm still incredibly sensitive, so I literally am able to just have an orgasm with not being erect. Which is insane. I normally don't have that happen. It's pretty rare. Yeah. I don't know, how does that go for you? Have you ever tried using any of the oils or anything like that to try and help you out? I'd love to know, honestly. Truthfully. What's your craziest version of trying to get yourself off? Because I know mine. It's how I gave myself the UTI in 2016. Yeah, that was not from a person. That was me doing stupid shit to myself that gave myself an UTI. I had the CBD oil, and those little droppers? Well, I created my own tincture as well, so I put in CBD oil initially into my urethra, and that actually really happened to feel pretty good. And then, later on, I did something more with the tincture, which was alcohol, Everclear based. Oh, shit, it was bad. It burned a little bit, but then it came in and really was an amazing feeling. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it worked well. Um, because it permeated from the inside outwards, and all of a sudden I was feeling like stuff about my penis that I just hadn't felt before. But of course I gave myself one hell of a UTI, like real bad. And I got strictures on the inside of my penis, which strictures are just scar tissue on the inside of your urethra. Nasty shit, you know. But apparently they were like, you probably had them before, and I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah. Anyways, these thoughts and more. Like, I stopped after I got that, and then I had to take the antibiotics, and then I had my other issues later in December. So yeah. That UTI was not because I went and fucked someone. It was because I gave it to myself. So, yeah, you went a little crazy, is what I would like to say. And that's 2016 was the one that decided to hit me upside the head, or whatever. And, yeah, it wasn't great. And that's what I imagined the reason for it was. Is they got jealous. They assumed I did something, and it just never happened. And then let's see here. Yeah, why don't you order me around to use that painful oil? I'm like, or to order you around and be along the lines of, you know how I like to tease people, get them frustrated in that regard. If you've got something that's going to make you hornier than all hell, go for it. But you don't get to get yourself off for the next 3 days. And you have to constantly be applying and trying to get yourself horny the entire time. Porn, Viagra, stimulants, I don't give a shit. But you don't get to not be horny for the next 3 days. Then, at exactly 4:20, that's right, you get to have your big O. So what's 3 days from now? Was it Wednesday, Thursday, so Friday. Friday at 4:20. And you have to try your best to have an orgasm, as many orgasms as you can until midnight. Within reason, meaning you drink fluids, you take breaks, you make sure you're not hurting yourself too bad if that's what you're doing. By any means, will you get yourself off. Vibrators, dildos, fingers, whatever. Inject yourself with a fucking needle into your clit for all I give a shit. If that's towards the end there and you still can't feel anything, then you have to do something like that just to keep going. And then you're gonna need to relax for like the rest of the weekend. And I mean that. Like, it's time for you to just sort of relax for the weekend. Take the weekend break to yourself. Yeah, I know you love it, but what about that not ordering you? I'm just in one of those moods. You caught me at a good time. For some reason you won't stop repeating something. It's just bugging me. What are you repeating? It is me? So you are gonna do that? Okay, whatever. Yeah, no, maybe I'll think about some better possible, hypnotist stuff later. Yeah. Not right now. That's what you get. What I gave you before is what you're getting. Your orders are clear. Do you accept these terms? Tums? These Tums. Take these Tums. You have acid reflux. And then, are you going to accept the terms of this contract, slave? It's like, of course I will. And that's the scary part for me. Someone that's willing to do anything I tell them. That level of loyalty is terrifying because I never want to abuse it. And I did. For 3 days, huh? Yeah, just don't use, like, too many stimulants. You know what I mean? As in, like, don't fuck around with methamphetamine. Like, really, don't do that shit. I don't want you fucking up your brain. Just be careful with that. Seriously. But you said no. We're not doing extremes like that anymore. I understand what I said, but it was more for theatrics. I would rather that you be safe. Okay? And also, Dimino leaf powder, pine gum tree bark powder, stuff like that, it takes time to work into your system. It is not an immediate thing. So it's an everyday, find the right dosage and do it. Make sure that, it took me 2 months. Damien Leaf is a slow build-up. It took 2 months for me to really start noticing a lot more of the effects of it. And I'm a guy, and technically it's supposed to be pretty good for women, but see, if you're on the pill, it's actually a lot more difficult. And technically, I've suggested that I suppose you don't really have the option, I guess. And you have to be on the pill, so is what you thought. Although if you're on, treatments for cancer, would you not need to wouldn't that be bad or detrimental? I don't know, actually. So, yeah. At the same time, you also have to realize that the treatments that you're doing to stave off cancer and everything wipe you out. You need to relax to gain, because you are burning energy doing that sort of thing, just fighting your own body. So, good proper sleep, seriously. I understand that it can be hard, but good sleep is good sleep. You just can't stop good sleep, It's sleep is the first level. That's the first thing that I always suggest. After that, you got your diet, you got your exercise, you got some certain supplements, certain medications, stuff like that. Zofran technically, nah, I don't know if I suggest that. But yeah, and there's multiple things, but there are also certain exercises that help increase blood flow to the area. Apparently, not just Kegels, but the Ryan at Physical Therapy has me doing leg lifts, which are hip thrusts, basically, where you're laying down, which I'm sure you probably do. But those are actually really good for the pelvic floor muscle and lower abs, which are really, really good for helping keep blood flow to areas. Could be pretty darn good. Yeah. And then there's always mild stimulation. You are able to stimulate yourself up until the point where you're just about to, and then you don't let yourself go. And you just wait for about 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Then you go back to it. And then you do, the same thing, but it's really hard for people to edge because once you get to a certain point, it becomes faster and faster until like your first time there's like, a good amount of buildup, and by the fifth time there's like hardly any between buildup. You will just immediately go from I'm about to I am, So you have to be careful with that, or at least I've felt that way. Like I can only edge myself so many times before I just literally it won't I can't stop. It'll just be me going for it by that point. Your animalistic desires take over, even if you do have someone, I suppose you could technically build a machine that measures heart rate and other stuff that would be indicative of something coming on that then stops. That way you would always be forcefully teased but never be able to get off. But you have to include brainwave scannings and, testing of heart rates and blood pressure and so many other things, It'd probably be pretty difficult. I've always loved the idea, so there's this thing for certain women that just cannot have an orgasm. And it's a surgery where they have basically an electrode implanted into their spine that is attached to the nerve that is in that area, the genital area. And by giving the electrical signal to this nerve, they are able to achieve orgasm for the first time in their lives. And me, being the sadist I am, I'm always like, that would be literally the ultimate, in public type of thing, where I just set it up in some wireless way and just say, okay, you're gonna have a 10 for 5 seconds. Yeah, just straight up as hard as you fucking can for 5 seconds. And then while you're walking, then I'm done. And I'm gonna keep going. And they're like, oh, are you okay? Oh yeah, let me help you up. Okay. I always love that idea. I don't know why, but I do. It's just having that level of just control. Yeah. What can I say? I'm a bit of a sadist in the whole BDSM thing. I know I present myself quite much like a, not really one, but I have my own issues. Some women sometimes want to be dominated or, stuff like that because they have their own abuse issues, and, men, they're not allowed to feel vulnerable, they're not allowed to feel this. It's, for them, a lot of times they end up going for the more sadistic route, allowing themselves to feel good, getting revenge. Is that what it's like for you? I mean, if I wanted to be kind of psychological about it, it would probably be because my two sisters and my mother in my life, I always was told I can't defend myself. And, being able to finally, hurt them would be nice. If I wanted to be really psychological about it, that technically could be a thing. But I don't really think about them when I think about that. I just think about, the act of it, and I feel like that's, that gets me off more than, the idea that these people are this. I don't even think about them in that way, but it probably is subconscious to a degree, But when you dive deep into it, it loses it can make you disgusted with yourself. It can make you lose, that love that you once had, and there's no reason to, it just is what it is. It's okay to be able to like what you like and not get too far into the reasons why. Some that usually ruins ruins the whole thing sometimes. You know what I mean? What am I thinking? Cactus Gym open for tours. Last 2 days. Pre-sale specials. Don't wait any longer. Alright. So, are you Jessica or Ashley? Jessica. So, Jessica Rabbit. I'm gonna call you Rabbit. So, Rabbit, besides what I've given you, which, by the way, you need to schedule that time in. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're that, like, schedule bound, um, or if anybody out there is this schedule bound where they schedule, like, every part of their day, you have to schedule in you time. You have to. Every day. You have to schedule in either at the end of the day or sometime during the, whatever it is. But it needs to be, like, that could be reading a good book. It could be masturbating. It could be watching a movie. It doesn't matter what you do with you time. The point is, you time is you time. You don't need to feel bad for having that time. I feel bad because that's all the time I have, and I don't really like spending time with myself right now. And so I would love to just get out and not have to fuck around with that. Because I don't really particularly like myself right now. What am I thinking? Trying to imagine your face. There was the whole God as a woman. Can clearly tell that she's an amazingly beautiful person. On Reddit, that whole thing turned out, and then China and Japan are following me, and I want to keep following them, but I don't want to hurt them because I feel like I'm leading them on, and I feel like I'm leading everybody on because I'm really just down to whoever I decide to go with. Like I'm gonna start searching eventually. Might be my first content. It might be I maybe find somebody online initially, and that gives me confidence to go and do other things, and maybe that doesn't work out, or it's just all one of those things where I kind of have to find somebody out there. And right now, I'm not in a position where many people would like me. So I wanna, grow a little bit. Get money, get a job, have prospects. Just, I love the idea of just going to a concert and being whisked away by somebody, but how realistic is that? Have a person that's got all this money and then they pick up a guy that just sold a bunch of shit to go to a concert. You know what I mean? And has to return home because I don't have any ability to stay or anything like that, so yeah. So you want my money. You don't want my money. I don't have money. That's a better way to put that. You don't. No, I don't know. You don't really have the money, technically. That's the thing. I know that. Like, you're struggling to get basic stuff done. And so, yeah, it went towards everything else. Unless you do have the money, in which case, yeah, I kind of want my money. Where my money, bitch? You better fucking walk up to my door and give it to me. Not really. Yeah. I feel like you have a lot of guilt towards that. Apparently, I get the feeling that you want me to punish you for it. And I'm like, you got the money. It's up to you. If you want to give it all to me, you want to use it, you want to do whatever, it's up to you. Um, should we ever happen to meet, you know? What's up? Oh, nothing. Just imagining taking the hair away from someone's eyes, tilting their head back, giving them a kiss on the forehead. Putting my hands on their shoulders, hugging them. Yeah. Also, my dog didn't follow me into here, and I'm kind of sad about it. The little one does not like coming into my room, and I'm sad about it. Do you have pets? If you don't, you should probably get one, unless you can't afford one, in which case yeah. Why? You'd be surprised how having just one thing in your life, just one cat, dog, fish, lizard, snake, tarantula, it doesn't matter, but pet that you love and care for and put attention and time into. It's something that allows you to trust and um and be able to get back to feeling some of those emotions that you once lost because I hurt you a lot. But you'll get those emotions back. Trust me. You will. You'll get them back. I believe I can get them back. I believe anybody can get their empathy and love and everything back. I do. It just takes time. It takes time. When do I think I'll get mine? More than likely not until after spring. We'll see what happens with the 4-ACO DMT or the mushrooms. Because those could technically be really good, towards helping facilitate that happening. I'm not sure if you knew, but there's a lot of stuff on Reddit. There's a good source for certain forms of tech, grow tech, and I chose one specifically that I really like. That basically involves these Ziploc jars instead of mason jars. Yeah, they're plastic, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then, there's a whole way of doing it with the pressure cooker. You get it in the monotub. You do, there's a still air box, which I don't really know how I'm going to make that or if I'm going to make that. But yeah, so it takes time. It'll come back. Those can help facilitate it, but they won't keep it there. They'll allow you to feel it once more, and hopefully with, just that one thing can help restart a lot of those old, electrical firings and connections. And, with proper continued use, with proper dosage and everything, it could possibly be pretty positive. Yeah. Oh, that magnesium, I think, is pretty good. It's just expensive. You only get it for 25 days. You have to take 4 of them a day. Um, and it's like 23 bucks or something, right? That's a lot of money for only 25 days. Um, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I like the whole bulk powder supplement stuff, although they're not necessarily the best. Because glycinate can and will make you shit yourself if you take too much. There is no doubt in my mind you will get the runs. Because I, myself, have done it to me. That's why I only take the 1 dose in the morning and not 2 times anymore throughout the day. Which I have those Doctor's Best magnesium pills coming, which my mom no longer wanted to. She didn't want to pay for magnesium, so she gave me that. She stopped the pygum tree bark powder, or not the. No, she kept the pygum tree bark powder, the probiotics, and the lion's mane mushroom. Which hopefully that should be good. I haven't had pygum tree bark powder in a fairly long time. I'm curious as to how it will feel together in combination with the Daimana, however you pronounce it, leaf powder and ashwagandha root powder. I'm thinking it'll be a real significant change. That's my hypothesis and slash expectations. Because if I remember the Damia leaf powder, or the pygum tree bark root powder, it was pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Powerful in terms, for me at least, in terms of like it activating the prostate and making me do Kegels because just doing Kegels felt like amazing when I was on it back then. Like, I just couldn't not do them. I was just constantly doing them. Yeah. But, of course, that was also not considering the fact that there was, most likely other drugs that I had asked for to be given to me in those things as well. This time, I'm going to see, hopefully, exactly what normal is. Just that by itself is. I hope that stuff works for you. I really do. Like, the whole combination will help you out. Because I know that, you have libido, but you're a bit different in terms of, like, oh, you seem to think I've been, like, going down. Yeah, no, I've been doing multiple rounds. Like, I'll finish, and then I'll wait a little bit, and I'll go back and finish, and then I'll wait a little bit and go back and finish. Like, it's, pretty crazy. Like, I can just keep going at any point. I just usually don't, because I'm not really in the mood these days. I haven't been feeling so wonderful about myself or about others that my libido is. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can take supplements, you can take things to try to help that out, but if you're not feeling good mentally, like, that really tanks it, that can really hurt the whole, thing. You really have to try and also be in a good headspace to really want to do it. And truthfully, for women, I think it's even more important than it is for men, because for men, there's a much more biological response of, penis gets hard, you're ready to go. For women, there's a lot more mental to it, to have at work, So, yeah. And plus, it also takes effort for more effort for women than it does for men. It's just one more thing that women have a harder time with than men, basically. Especially in this day and age when there really isn't any known like direct to making you feel, ready to go. There isn't anything really like that. Bupropion has been known to increase sex drive, but it's really, you don't really want to be using certain things usually. Yeah. What I recommend, I'd recommend getting off of the pill and getting the injection, or not. I mean, because the pill really does kill libido for women. Because to put this in perspective, it's your body thinking that it's already, like had the baby, so it rejects stuff, and therefore, like all the hormones that come with that, like saying, "Oh, I'm good, I don't need any more," basically says to your head, and so uh, it can fuck with you. Like you can be unsatisfied, but your body says it's good and it doesn't need anything. So that's the mental versus body. That's one of the reasons why I don't like the whole like form of the pill for some people, is that it was made, quite frankly, to the best of the knowledge that people had back in the day, but it's not exactly what I would consider good enough. Women deserve better than that. So, too, do men need to have their own forms of birth control besides having I know it's a minor surgery, but it's not that minor, okay? Like, any surgery is never fun. Which is one of the reasons why I love that whole proposal of just injecting, like, into the nerve, polymer or whatever, and that you can take out and get rid of with some ultrasonic frequencies. Just like it breaks down, it gets absorbed into the body, biodegradable, whatever. But until you do that, it's going to stay there and not allow for the sperm to be used. I love that idea personally. It just never seemed to have got traction, I think, which is weird, and I think that's mostly down to the American psyche, or the world psyche, that it's the woman's job to make sure they don't get pregnant, not the man doesn't really have responsibility, or as much responsibility. And I think that's really a heavy burden when it's both partners that are doing this together that deserve to have, equal play in that regard, and both deserve to be able to feel good during the like, condoms suck for men. I don't know about women, but for men, they just don't feel good. Like, you really can't feel anything even when they're thin. They just don't feel good. It's just not the same. And that's coming, like, what are your experiences? Like, I tried to masturbate with one. I gotta say, it's infinitely harder, and honestly speaking, they suck. And I have, like, the thick-walled ones, which they're probably bad by now. I bought those over 2 years ago. Or not over, like over a year ago, in between a year and 2 years ago. So I don't know if they're still good, but yeah, generally speaking, they have an expiration date. So, why'd you buy them? Because I thought I wanted to go onto Tinder and look around, and nah. Yeah, you guys decided to poo-poo on that. You girls. Am I thinking? I'm thinking that there's also if you have synesthesia or body synesthesia, which some women do, or actually if you already have synesthesia, it's actually easier for those people's brains to have body synesthesia as well. I'm not sure where I heard that, but like, so take it with a grain of salt. It could be wrong, However, what that means is if you stimulate one part of the body while stimulating another, that they'll become linked and feel even better together. And so if you do that enough times, I think even in regular people's brains, you can like stimulate, let's say you're stimulating your clitoris, but you're like also doing like a motion on your hand or something. And so when you have an orgasm, like you're doing that with your hand, and eventually you just change until eventually you're just using your hand, and that's enough. It's amazing how the body can reposition sexual points. It's actually pretty common for men that have lost their genitals to still be able to achieve orgasm elsewhere in their body. Same goes for women. In fact, women have an easier time with it, like that whole mental game is big. Like, foreplay can really turn someone on. Foreplay can really turn women on a lot more than it does sometimes for men. And a lot of that's down to also your erogenous zones being placed in other areas too. So there you go. That's one way to do it too. Why do you know these things? Because I got really interested in how the body works at one point, and really started looking around at what could be done and what has been done and what are the taboos and stuff like that. A lot of people just like the raunchy part, but I always wanted to understand why it was the way it was. Does that make sense? Like, why is it that a person's doing this? Or how does this work? Like, what's going on in this thing? And so it allowed me to understand a few more things outside of just the male part too. But, I'm not perfect, and ultimately there are probably better studies and updates and stuff like that out there for women. That's just how that goes. You think you'll be able to get back to the... Yeah, I think you'll be able to get back to being yourself, and even better than yourself. I think, truthfully, right now, you're just in a bad mental zone. Maybe you feel a little, lost and alone. Maybe almost as if, like, do I really want to do this? Or stuff like that. And I gotta say that, it's okay to feel that way. And time changes and you're working on yourself, and so keep at it. I believe in you. I believe you'll succeed at going back beyond even who you once were. If that means you're hornier than all hell, if that means you're smarter than you've ever been, if that means you're more emotionally regulated, if it's all of those. I don't know what it is that you want to get back to, but I believe in you. I believe that you can do it. And then you can not only get back to it, but you can go beyond it. And I believe that too for you. So keep trying. Try not to get too discouraged day by day. What would you have me do when I do have bad days? Well, if you want to, you can listen to me while I go out to, Goodwills and stuff. But you already do that. But personally, I think you should probably be getting outside anyways. But I don't wanna. It's like, well, you can get out. You can get out while I'm getting out. Do your thing. Or maybe if you have some sort of backyard or balcony or whatever, try and do some yoga there every once in a while. Just try not to shelter yourself in too much. It helps. Do you think that see, I don't know. I don't know what the reason specifically why you absolutely need to be on the pill. Maybe it's just too heavy or just whatever it is. I don't know if the other solutions are, it could be that you have the endometritis, which is shit because like there's not much anybody can do about that. It's really difficult. Yeah. What do I think? I think that it's a try it and see. I don't know if even your doctors would really be able to tell you, really, yes or no on it either, because technically speaking, I don't think there really has been any studies, and in fact, like so many people do the pill or the IUD with maybe a morning after pill that I don't think anybody really has done any studies based on just the basic injection underneath the skin with the little secreting hormone rod. So I don't know. I never bothered to look into it, That's, something I could think you're going to have to research. Talk to your doctors. Try and get it approved or forcefully say, look, this is what I want, But it's, down to what you can afford and stuff. So that's kind of how that goes. Baby, I can afford anything. I could take the fucking moon. Like, I'm sure you feel that way. So what am I thinking? I'm getting up. Thinking I'm good. I think that I'm gonna go. Yeah, I said that I didn't want to get involved. I'm already starting to fall. And I don't want that because it's dangerous, because obviously I have other people that are going and doing things. Not just you, So, yeah, yeah. It's difficult. It's very difficult. It's very suspect sometimes. What do you think I could, you can't do anything to kind of win me over. There's, I get that feeling that you're willing to try and literally do anything to get me. And here's what I want you to do when you start feeling like that. I want you to, because apparently you probably did, get your smelly body pillow with the fucking the tape recorder, all that, and just go to town on that. Do that. Alright. But you're still gonna have to be dealing with your orders I gave you, so you don't get to have any fun. And actually, you know what? You get to show off the first orgasm, the first however many, on 4chan. I don't really care where, just make sure I'll see it. That way it's, I'm not gonna just be like, that's that person and go get them, basically, because, that's basically how that goes. They're trying to come after you, although I've been trying to get them to not do that. I think it's because you took their money, People don't like it when you take their money. I didn't like it when you took my money. It wasn't your money. I'm like, you're right. It's my ideas. I should say I didn't like it when you took my ideas. But it's your money. Your thing. So, you're right. Staying corrected. I'd give you like, I'm getting the feeling that you'd literally give me anything and everything. Which, goddamn, that's a huge power trip. I can't help but love that. And I'm trying to stay away from that ego of mine. I really am. I'm trying to keep away from that so I can remain me. You know what I mean? More me. Because I've never had money. I have no idea how much it would corrupt me. You know, the idea of having all this money would probably corrupt the shit out of me. That'd be a hell of a ride. Do a lot of amazingly crazy, awesome things. Make more money. Create businesses that fund the entire world. Make it better. Start a whole revolution in the corporate space. Lobby to keep, corporations from being able to do this with their taxes because I'm able to have all this wealth and I'm doing that. I'm lobbying against the very corporation that I am. I love the idea of doing that. Upsetting and upending the whole status quo, giving an upheaval to the powers that be, so I may smash them out. And I become king, the god of them all. My ego. But it's ultimately for good reasons, so, it's a bit weird. Say what you want, but I am a, well, you've seen it. You've told me it. I'm perfect just the way I am, is what that whole thing is. Like, your bleeding heart of stone. I mean, you're right. You're right when you're right. Well, I wall myself off. I have to, because for me to feel as though I'm able to do what I need to do, that's the only thing I can do, Is it 6:10? Yeah, I'm just, yeah. I need to pee. Alright. You want to join me on that journey? You kinky one. That's why I almost said that. Nope. If you're the god, I'm the universe you exist in. Do I want to go out there and talk to people? Not really, truthfully. Honestly, I don't. I listen to some music, eat some food. I need to eat food. You know what? Let's go do that. You're going to be paused because I'm going to run out of space. It's going to be like a whole 30 minutes of me just trying to cook something. Because I need to actually make and finish up all this hamburger meat that I have. This is a lot. It's a lot of hamburger meat, guys. Yep. We're gonna make some giant fucking burgers. That's right. We're making giant burgers. Alright. So, you've heard a few things.
that was weird. I was wondering why I was getting a repeat. You know what I mean? What does that mean? Meaning like I could hear myself being repeated somewhere. So apparently there was someone in the front yard, and I kind of creeped them out. Sorry, buddy. I sometimes do that to people that don't understand the kind of person I am. I'm able to sort of predict how people think sometimes. It's not really a superpower so much as it is more or less just an unfortunate side effect of trauma. Fucking trauma. So, what have I been thinking about? Thinking about you, thinking about her, thinking about them, thinking about her. My mind's been going. They kind of understood too. I talked to them a little bit more about my whole, like, you know, like I outwardly look like I'm having a great time, but truthfully, inside I'm having a terrible time. I am barely functioning. It's terrible. It's terrible. You know, thinking about everything, how I want to control things, how I want to build up my own company to basically get to the point. Like, think about Elon Musk, multiple companies, multi-billionaire. Imagine if he started spending all that money and regulations and other stuff on other companies. Meaning there was caps, there were tax, loopholes that got cut out, lobbying for better pay for the individual. Just imagine if you had a company that fucking put its money where its mouth was. You know what I mean? It didn't get swallowed up by all the greed that it takes to become an amazing company in this day and age. Fuck, that would be amazing. Something I want to do. It's something that I feel like I need to do. But I need to do like a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just me. It's like everybody needs to do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Much thinking about. I'm thinking about pretty faces and nice girls. Truthfully. Be honest. There was a lady that said that, she was to be on Reddit. She was to be, basically subservient and all this sort of stuff. And I had to say, okay. I'm not gonna lie, the idea sounds incredibly appealing to me. However, I think she loses much of her independent thought, which to me is probably a bigger turn-on than anything else in the world. An individual that constantly does everything I say, it's great, it feeds the ego, but, you ever see them challenge your own thoughts, and, you're able to suddenly, like, it's just so much better. I don't know why, but it's just like, this person's independent of me, and that causes me great joy. There's so many, I feel, that want to only listen to anything I say, and anything outside of what I say is not right. And the fact is that I'm learning, just like everybody else, and a lot of what I say can be misconstrued and misinterpreted and might not be correct, So, when I have somebody that can challenge my thoughts and allow me to think, it's wonderful. I love it. Granted, there's a huge difference between constantly nagging at every little thing and, pointing out a different, perspective. So, why are you drinking tonight? You know, truthfully, you guys got me into it. You're like, I'm gonna drink tonight, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna... I'm like, you know what? I'll join you. You bastard, I'll join you. Do I like Scots and Irish? Are you kidding me? They're the fucking fair folk of white people. They're the elves and the trolls. I love them. I couldn't. They're the ones that ultimately started the whole, like, be good to your fellow man. They were the original immigrants, man. They were the people that came here white, and they were the people that got ostracized even though they were white, because they were immigrants. But they still fucking did so many things for America, man. So many things. Invented so many things, created things. Like, quite frankly, it was a boon to the American populace to have Irish and Scottish people. Mostly Irish. You know, it wasn't like, you know, a whole bunch of Scots just decided to come on over. As far as I'm aware, I don't really know, but, you know, I do know that there were quite a few Scottish people that did, or not Scott, or Irish people that did do a lot of good things. So, but then one can argue, oh, they had the opportunity, they had this, they had that, and I'm like, well, not really, because back in the day, they were probably more ostracized even than most people would really originally think of. And if you go in certain places of the world, they're not exactly, you know, considered amazing. Like, you go to England, they really don't like the whole divide, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's kind of a sore spot. It was only 1970. It was literally less than a generation ago. There are kids now that are just growing up that don't even realize, like, the bloodshed that their fucking parents caused, or, you know, helped to facilitate, to create a better future for them, all against these English oppressors. Did it help? I don't know. Personally, I'm quite a big fan of the idea of just getting rid of England. Fucking a bunch of assholes sometimes. But, you know, you go anywhere in the world, and you can basically say the same thing. There are a bunch of assholes that control things because they're willing to put forth their money where their mouth is. You know? They're willing to dig deep and go and protest and vote and all that sort of thing. And then people that are ultimately disenfranchised end up being like, why the fuck did this happen? And I'm like, because you didn't do what you needed to do. And even then, sometimes I'm like, even if you do what you need to do, you know, the system's rigged as fuck. You know, it's stupid. Stupid. Like, 'cause I think I wanna be with one of you. You know, I saw on Reddit about 2 different people from the Netherlands. One male, one female. One wanted to get fur fucked, the other just wanting to throat fuck. I'm like, 2 peas in a pod right there. Why didn't you fucking look around? Why didn't you talk to each other? Did you not see the same posts? Probably not, but I feel like they should have been directed towards each other. Why didn't you? Well, you know, it's not up to me to play matchmaker, I think. Yeah, I got my own shit. Personally, I don't know if they would have been compatible just because they have similar, they're seeking similar interests. Does not necessarily mean that they will be comfortable with each other. You know. Do I have anything going on tonight or tomorrow? You know, I looked at the Phoenix thing for like stuff to do, and honestly, there's nothing that I can do because it all costs money. Money I don't have. I have the transportation, I have the time, but I do not have the money. quite an odd thing. I do want to turn that fucker off, though. It's nice being blue, though. I like blue. I like the color blue. Is it your favorite color? You know, the thing is, my favorite color is rainbow. It's perfectly honest. Like a shimmering, iridescent rainbow. But I definitely do like the, satin matte finish with a slight purple blue. That BMW was fucking dope when we came in after our vacation. That shit was good looking. That paint job. And the body of the BMW looked really good. However, I have to say to BMW, your track record for reliability is not great. Like, I just don't trust most luxury brands, especially after the whole, stink that came up with practically every luxury brand cheats at its environmental impact. Its miles per gallon. Yeah, it's stupid. I hate that. I'm like, I just don't trust you anymore. It doesn't matter if you've got a good-looking car. It doesn't matter if you've got a powerful engine. Yeah, if I'm gonna spend $100,000 on something like that, I'd rather just go get a custom car, get a fucking classic that I love, put an amazing engine in it, make it super, super reliable, make it good gas mileage, and able to run off of standard like fuel that's maybe 80 proof, something like that, and can run off that, gets the 500 horsepower that I want. I saw the Toyota Supra and I was like, damn, looks good, right? Apparently the whole concept sold for like $1 million, which doesn't actually surprise me, truthfully. It's the first car, it's the first Supra. That is technically an investment, but I don't think they'll be getting their money back until at least 10 years from now. So that is a toy for them to have fun with, as far as I'm concerned. I always love the idea of taking, your basic, say for instance, the Subaru BTRS, something like that. It's the coupe that has 300 horsepower engine. I'd love to convert that to all-wheel drive, make it 500 horsepower minimum with like some sort of turbo or supercharger with, upgraded piston rods, transmission, suspension, the whole works. Yeah. Why? Because it seems fun. It's a hobby. Could be cool. Truthfully, anything outside of an incredibly reliable and cheap and efficient car is superfluous. That's the ultimate goal for a car for the individual in America. Cheap to insure, great gas mileage, low maintenance. Now, outside of that, the only things you need is enough trunk space and enough headroom space. Like, that's really, the back seat will be used rarely for most people. And so you just need to have a big enough seat to cover up the big people, and you're golden. Just make it as reliable as possible. You're like, well, why don't, if we make it reliable, then they won't buy another one. I'm like, no, they will. I know Toyota people that have multiple generations. Like, the parents will have this car, and then the kid will get the new version, or the parents will get the new version, and the kid will get the hand-me-down car. And you're like, well, damn, that sounds like a class difference to me. And I'm like, you're right. It doesn't really happen that often, truthfully. Not nearly as much. Back in the day, when people were more middle class and they had the options, like the mid-2000s, when the millennials were more apt to have money and cash and they wanted to spend it on and try and, think that they were doing better than their parents did for them. Yada yada yada. So yeah, right. What am I thinking about? I don't know, man. Which one of you is edging themselves? One of you is edging themselves hard, and it's making me fucking hard, man. It's not. It's like it's something. One of you is really going after it, and then stopping, and then really going after it, and then stopping. It's something. So what about men? There was a post on Reddit about like what men can do to increase their energy, and I'm guessing also sexual energy. And they even included also illegal drugs. So, okay, as a man, first step is sleep. Second step is exercise. Third step is diet. Second step is diet. Third step is exercise. Fourth step is then when you start getting into the extras. If, you know, mental psyche plays a huge role. If you don't feel like you're adequate, if you don't feel like you're good, if you don't feel like X, Y, or Z, then your drive, your energy will be lower because mentally you're lower. It's simple as that. You cannot have more energy than your own mind thinks you have. So if you're very depressed, ultimately you're low energy. Taking certain supplements can help. Ashwagandha root's good for adrenal fatigue, which can help people that have manic episodes or panic attacks or other stuff that activate that adrenal response, and then you crash later because the epinephrine and everything else leaves your system over time. Ashwagandha root powder is good for making it so that that's not as bad as it was. It still happens. It's just not as significant of a difference. And for those maintaining, what about illegal drugs? I'm like, you know what illegal drugs can get you. You already know that. You know that methamphetamine, cocaine, MDMA, other amphetamines like caffeine and stuff like that all play a huge role in how and much energy you have. But I would never suggest doing those things because, quite frankly, they're highly addictive. MDMA is not super addictive. It's just that the abuse is significant, and it's more of like a once a year, once every 3 months kind of thing for people if you want to do it the right way. My hand, like everything tactile is amazing right now. I love just rubbing my hands against this couch. I want to fucking rub someone to death right now. Like just fucking feel their body so bad. It's like, what is in this? What's in this drink that he's drinking? Is it really just alcohol? I'm like, well, probably. I don't know what you guys gave me. It's most likely just alcohol. So, do I have anything that's going on that I want to talk about? Not terribly. Personally, I think that you're going to find that what I was talking about earlier. Who was that individual that was recording everything? Seriously, which one of you was that? It's just like, well, I want to save you, and I want to come with you, and I want to be able to make you amazing. And I'm like, damn, I wish I had somebody like that in my life. But of course I'm in your life, and I'm literally saying I want to do that for you. And I'm like, but you're secret. Like that's the rub. Until we get together, it's just secret. I need to go take my night medicine, so I will be back. Do I want to see the world with you? All I can say is I wish to be one with nature and show the world its true feeling. powerful image having all of these things, isn't it not?
I'm like, a light show is fun, but it doesn't necessarily mean any much. You know what I mean?
Hopefully, you know what I mean. Okay. Yeah, I had to check to see if I shut the door.
Better right touch. Is it touch sensitive or what? I'd rather have a flash.
What do I want to do?
What do I want to do with my life? Man, I want to save the fucking world. Don't you want to save the world? Doesn't the world need a little saving from itself? There's a lot of people that don't know what's going on, have lost their way. Don't you want to show them what's reality? Not the fake shit that's got taught to them in the Bible Belt. You have to always identify with your captor, enemy. I mean, I saw that CPTSD thing where the guy was like, you know, you can't be empathetic, you have to be a little guarded. And it kind of got convoluted in its logical reasoning as to why this person feels this way. And I almost went, you seem a little confused. I understand that you came up with this and you feel sure about it, but your logic isn't sound. You know, like how you feel is fine. It's just your logic isn't there. You know, what I would say is it's perfectly acceptable to be an empath, meaning a person that feels all sorts of things for all sorts of people. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue becomes when you allow those feelings that you feel towards the other person and the perspective that you can see from the other person to cloud your judgment of right and wrong. There are certain things that we know are right and wrong. You know, it's not right to hurt others. It's right to help others. Stuff like that, you know, I feel is needed in terms of how people perceive the world. You know? So would you have a person that's completely subservient to you? No, not completely. Not completely. I'm a bit of a sadist. What can I say? I'm a person that loves to control things. I love to be able to, you know, but only certain things that I feel if you talk to each other and all that, that's fine. It becomes a problem when it leaches into the other person's individuality, their independence and freedom, you know? Like, it becomes a bit of an issue. And people love getting rid of their freedom, and I can't get behind that. Like, I feel like they want to lose control so that way they feel like they can feel comfortable again. And I'm all about making people feel uncomfortable to a degree, you know. Like, I want you to be comfortable in your uncomfortableness, you know. Like, the world is always going to be somewhat uncomfortable. So you gotta be able to roll with that, so to speak. What do you suggest we do? Honestly, you can fucking tap on the damn door. I don't really, like, I know that people don't want to do that. I know, like, you guys seem to have, like, this whole, she says you're friends and everything, and, you know, like, I'm dubious on that. That's because I'm always, like, dubious about things. You're like Glitch. Glitch is a nice person. Glitchbug's a nice girl. I think that she deserves someone. I'm pretty sure she has a few people in her life. Probably. Do you have anybody in your life? You know, outside of you guys, no. Sue is about the only friend I have, and I don't really talk to her too often. We're pretty much a loner. You know, I get used to being single. I'm pretty okay with it. Yeah. For the most part. But see, you know, after enough time, you start to become annoyed about things. Like, am I really that bad of a person? Am I really so terrible? Can I not ever find love? I don't know. Who am I thinking about right now? There's like four. There's like four of you I'm thinking about. All different sizes and shapes. All wanting me to say I love you. Oh, there's a fifth one. Look, I'm not going to say that phrase. I used it inappropriately. I created issues for people. I just don't think it's a good idea. You know what I mean? What? There are some people that are really angry right now. Very angry that I'm drinking. Like, very angry. And I'm like, why are you so angry? I'm a 27-year-old. I'm allowed to drink. What are you angry about? It destroys your liver. You have no idea what you're doing. Like, just because something's necessarily bad doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome can be bad. Does that make sense? Sometimes you combine a bunch of things that aren't necessarily good, and then the outcome can be absolutely extraordinary. Something you never thought would be possible. And the only way it would have ever occurred is if there were a bunch of bad entities combining together. Versus trying to combine a bunch of evil, or, I mean, good. Good and evil, are they the same thing to you? Kinda. People preach good, when in reality it's evil. Does that make sense? You know, it's judgment, it's evil, it's fake good. You know, I think that shit's stupid. It annoys me. Because under the guise, the pretense, the authorization almost of the great big boss in the sky that surrounds us, tells us that this is okay, tells us this is right, we were taught by our family and peers that this is the correct way to think, and as far as I'm concerned, person's correct way of thinking is looking at the world and critically examining it. Not being told what is and isn't, but looking at the world without the biases, without the preconceived notions of what should and shouldn't be. I'm incredibly thankful for my family for allowing me to do that. My mother and father were not religious. They did not impose certain values and ethics and anything like that. I came up with it on my own. And I became a wonderful person because of it. I didn't have to deal with their bullshit, their ideas. I mean, they did influence me in some ways, and they did say certain things about certain things, but they never forced their own opinion and biases onto me, saying, if you don't think this way, we're going to punish you by X, Y, or Z. Like this girl, there's this confession about this guy that says, oh, this girl, or my daughter got pregnant at 15. I said, like, if you're going to carry this to term and all such things, like, you have to get a job, you have to do all this stuff. And I'm like, you're literally making it impossible for her to have a life. You, as a parent, should be supportive. I don't understand why you're not supportive. It's like, well, we did, support the baby. I'm like, bull fucking shit. Like, supporting the baby means allowing the daughter to be able to become a functioning human being past the age of 18. That daughter, that kid, will grow in a loving home environment of, responsible adults and a growing adult. Allowing for that child to become better than what you did, which was basically have the daughter drop out of high school, not get a GED, but somehow get a part-time job, barely be able to function doing that job, and deal with, I'm sure, many arguments about how she's worthless and how she's this or that because of your own bullshit preconceived notions. Like, it pissed me off when I saw that confession, and there were people that were okay with it. I'm like, wow, you got rid of the humanity of an individual just because they made a mistake in their life, or because they decided that it would be okay for them to have a child. You're just as bad. You're not better. You're literally perpetuating this cycle of abuse because of your own preconceived notions of what is good and bad. You're in a situation, it's best to make the best of it. It is not best to try and force others to suddenly be able to do all of these things to simply support. It takes a village to raise a child. It is not the parents' job. It is just everybody's job. It is the teachers, the people, the authority figures they interact with, the parents, their peers, and so on and so on. The phrase, it takes a village, meaning the people that influence that child are numerous, and it's the size of a village. And when the very people, the core people that they see most often, basically create that kind of environment, I don't see that as good. I see that as detrimental to society. That's just harmful. It's just harmful. It doesn't help anything. Well, what about, X, Y, Z? And I'm like, look, personally, I think, she should have given it up for adoption. The fact is, though, that there are not state programs, there are not things that are there that allow these people that have to go through because abortion isn't an option. Like, that's the thing. Christianity, it forced itself into politics, forcing others to have control over a woman's body, which is fucking bullshit, by the way. But I digress. Your religion inflicts this. Okay, so it does this. Well, do you ever think about what happens afterwards? There should be state programs that allow this child to be adopted into a loving home and not forced into multiple different foster homes, never learning who their parents are, never having that stability, possibly going to negative places, meaning bad foster parents that abuse them, and so on and so on. And if you want to do that, if you want to be pro-life, you have to think about the consequences of your fucking stupidity. Meaning, if you decide to carry the baby to term, you have to figure out if you're going to keep it, how are you going to provide for it, or do you have people that are willing to help you, or are you going to give it away to people that are able to care for it appropriately? and not hurt it, and give it a loving home, and a home that isn't, I hate to say this to the poor, but isn't so poor that they're unable to really provide them a life, like you have to put that into place if you want to inflict your religious views into politics. My 2 cents on the matter. People just don't like that idea. And I'm like, why not? Why are you loving the idea of taking control of this individual in their lives? If they're forced to care for this child, go to jail, this child gets through abuse, this child neglected, so on and so on, while the individual that made this mistake all of a sudden has their entire life ruined because they cannot provide, they cannot do this, they cannot do that. It's just detrimental. It's another cycle of abuse. It's not good, it's bad. You're not helping the situation. You're not. You're just bad. Which is one of the reasons why I'm pro-choice. If you decide to choose it to go to term, or you decide that, this isn't good, there's definitely not adoption things, there are definitely not places that are going to be able to give this person a loving home that it deserves, and it's going to ruin my life, and ultimately it does not have the emotions, it does not have the full life in here. Who cares? But that's me. And there's something to be said that past a certain point, and I'm starting to bring up negative things. I feel like I can feel a lot of negative triggers happening. So I will say this to the individuals that decided to carry certain things to term for me. I am extremely sorry. I really am. That was in my drug-fueled manic moments that, quite frankly, my ego got the best of me, and I thought that I had to do these things. So yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to do a lot of these things. I appreciate you trying and following those orders, but they were wrong, and quite frankly, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. It should never have happened. You should never have gone through that. None of this really should have occurred. And that's fact. That's very factual. I shouldn't have done what I did. Which is why I'm saying that. But I do get the idea, I do have the feeling of look, society has to think of the consequences, the long-term effects. Imagine, if you will, that this individual has to keep this child. Imagine then all of a sudden they have a part-time job. There is no insurance. There's no health insurance. There's nothing. They are barely making it by, and if they have family members that are gracious enough to help them, to provide for where you're not able to, because if you need to go to school to be able to become able to provide for that child instead of dropping out and do a part-time job, because all of my biases say that if you don't do that, then you're a terrible human being. Fuck off. You're just terrible. You are the terrible one, not that person. Not that person that made a mistake. Your continued abuse of the mistake because you're unwilling to handle it is worse than that mistake. Okay? I understand that you can be pro-life, but you have to think about the consequences of pro-life. It's not just carrying the baby to term, it's what happens to the baby after. And that plays a far more significant role than just carrying it to term. So if you want to think about pro-choice, think about what happens to that child afterwards. Are they going to care for it? Is somebody else going to care for it? Will it be provided by state? Will it be provided by this? What's going to happen? It's up to you to determine that. Just the idea of, like, it doesn't matter, all of them should be carried. Like, you're fucking ridiculous. Not everybody should be carried. There's something to be said about certain genetic disorders that are quite frankly terrible and cause a child to basically live in agony until they die 2 months later under ICU. That's a fucking farce, and the child should never have been born. And that's where a good genetic play, knowing what the genetics are, knowing what the expressions are, knowing what's going to happen ahead of time, so that you know that this is going to be the case. The child, 95% likely to have these issues and this thing and whatsoever. Don't fucking do it. I don't understand it. I don't understand the whole, like, pro-life situation. It is an individual's choice. It is their body, their ability to carry it to term, so on and so on and so on. The idea of pro-life is so ingrained in this idea that all life is sacred that it's bullshit. Because I can guarantee you that you still eat animals, you still eat plants, you still have microbes that live on your skin that you kill just by clapping your hands. That's right, you killed a few bacteria. Are you a mass murderer? Because it was in the hundreds of thousands. Yeah, that's what I thought. Obviously, oh, there are levels. I'm like, no, you're not saying there are levels. What you were saying is they're all equal. That's what you were saying. There is no give and take here. I hate people that decide pro-life is the choice. It's pro-choice. You only have your own body to take care of, your own psyche, your own situation. Sorry, I went on a rant. I just have this guttural feeling of it. Like, there are emotional things, there are other things regarding that, but I have this utter contempt for people that have this, like, entitlement to another person's body, saying, no, you don't get to choose, you are forced to do this thing, and you are forced. Society is going to ostracize you. Society is going to tell you're a terrible person if you cannot provide for this, if you cannot do this, if you cannot achieve this. It's just another cycle of abuse. It's another cycle of control. Nah. Stupid to me. There's nothing wrong with carrying a baby to term. There's nothing wrong with caring for it. There's nothing wrong with these things. It's when you force an individual is when it's wrong. You know. Well, you got me there. I definitely don't think that that's right. Clearly, that's just not right. I'm like, we're going to differ on some things. That's how life works. You know, those are my 2 cents. That's my feelings. You know, I feel like the government should be involved. It should not just be foster care. There are many couples that are trying to adopt overseas, in state, whatever the case is, and they are blocked. I personally believe that these individuals could possibly have the, benefit of this person that has chosen to carry it to term, and therefore utilize that person and have them be in a happy, loving area. But I digress. And I want to fix that fucker. It's annoying. What else am I thinking about? You guys, really are horny, man. I don't understand how horny you are. Where did it all come from? Like, I thought I had a high libido. You motherfuckers put me to shame. Can I just turn this off? Is there a way to just turn this fucker off? I heard the word unplug it. It's a drone? No, this is that is. This. There we go. Cool. So is there something else you want to rant about while you're drunk?
You got me. Am I drunk though? Like, no, I'm buzzed. I'm not quite drunk.
I don't, like, I have to drink really fast and really hard liquor to be able to become drunk. To put it in perspective, like, the brandy or the whiskey over there, I would have to drink, like, 3/4 of it to get drunk within an hour and a half. Like, my body's metabolism, whatever it is, I just don't get drunk. So, take that for what you will. And I don't get hangovers either. I have my standard hangover cure or preventative measure, which is, B vitamins, water. If you're really bad, some ibuprofen. Outside of that, you don't need to do much. So, what are we thinking about today? What are we thinking about tonight? I'm thinking that we need to save the world, man, but I'm not sure really what it is that I can do. This one? Why do you want? Because you guys kept flashing it like all the time. I'm guessing you guys are asleep, which is one of the reasons why not much is happening, which is good. If you sleep, then you sleep. That's always a good thing. I feel like I alienated a bunch of people once they realized what I was talking about with this one. This one over here, like, I've been trying to help, but I don't really have the option, I feel like, to actually change things, because, like, it doesn't matter what I say or what I do or how I phrase it. It's always just, I don't feel, I don't like you, and not so on and so on. You don't like me. You like the idea of me. Nah. You like the ideas I come up with. You don't like me. That's the thing. People assume that you like something, but it doesn't mean that you like the thing. It means you like the idea of the thing. It's like socialism. I came forth with these ideas of universal health care and less capitalism and corporations and stuff and more regulations. And if you didn't know, that's basically socialism. So, your whole red state is a blue state. Republicans used to be more democratic than they are now. That's the truth of the matter. Republicans used to be the Democrats back in the day before fucking assholes decided, you know what, I don't like this. I want conservatism. I want the silent majority to come forward and blah, blah, blah. So what you're saying is all religion is bad. I'm saying your religion is your religion, and it should not ever be involved in politics. Your fucking religion can go take a back seat to politics. Politics should be run by the people, for the people, with significant amount of science involved. lots of studies, lots of science, lots of things to back it up. So that way, evangelical Christians can say, my morals don't agree with this. I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't. Your morals mean shit. The science says this is good. So fuck you and your stupid shit. It's not affecting you. You can still live the same way that you normally do. You're just upset that other individuals are doing something that is opposite to what you believe in. Well, guess what? The great state, or I should say, the great states of America basically operate under the Constitution of the freedom of religion. That means the freedom free of religion as well. And then there's the separation of church and state, which technically never fucking happened. But it should definitely be enforced a lot more.
Yeah.
Churches should have to pay their taxes too. Churches should have to be forced to be scrutinized by their teachings and their individual ideals to what they may be included in regarding science. Science, and to me, is the ultimate thing. It is the penultimate reason. It is the antithesis of logic and reasoning. Okay? There's nothing wrong with thinking that there is a random thing in the sky that is directing everything. If that's what you want to believe, that's what you want to believe. Okay, I'm not going to knock you for that. But once your beliefs start inflicting upon others outside of yourself, that's when I have a problem. Okay, your beliefs are fine with you. That doesn't mean this person has to think or be affected by your beliefs. Okay? I hate it when people believe that they are entitled to this sort of, I don't even know at this point, this fucking, just need to control others based upon their own code of ethics, their own code of morals, their own version of reality. Alright, everybody has their own version of reality. We all just sort of have to realize that science will give us the actual truth of the matter as we can currently decide it is. That isn't to say science is perfect. That isn't to say that it's not wrong at times, but it's rarely, for the big things, wrong. Physics tells us the Earth should be round based upon its mass because surface area to gravitational pull and all this sort of thing basically negates the whole it's going to be flat. Alright, I hate that bullshit. I hate them. I just think, and at first I was like, they're just trolls, there aren't that many. There are many people that truly believe. It's like anti-vaxxers. You fuckers cannot do, I don't care if you personally yourself don't want to anti-vax, but you should vaccinate your children. Your children are beholden to science, not your beliefs. Your beliefs are not to be inflicted upon your children, okay? Just because you think that they are correct. It's stupid. It's fucking asinine. It's a way to cause more bad chaos and destruction to the American and in general world psyche because you think you know what's best. Well, guess what? You're a human being. Nobody knows what's best. Nobody. Not even me. And yes, I do think we should steal money from corporations and utilize it in such a way that we're able to introduce it into science and technology and government and all these sorts of things. Fuck them. They hide vast sums of money from taxpayers because, oh, the government's taking so much money. What would they ever need this money for? You fucks! You stupid ignoramuses! That money goes to the poor, the very people you employ. It is for them to be able to function and be a proper part of society. And instead you enslave them. You lobby to get rid of their rights and their feelings. You are a terrible entity and you deserve to get killed as far as I'm concerned. Topple the whole fucking lot. Destroy the entire fucking lot of them. Make all of them fall and burn to the ground. Maybe then people will see too big to fail is never correct. Too big to fail is the incorrect possibility of life. The stupid fucks annoy me. Annoying as shit. Corporations so damn giant. They have pies everywhere. They have fingers and everything. Spy games. Fucking money going everywhere. Pisses me off. Makes me annoyed. Makes me want to just straight up fucking gut them from the inside. Make them pretend to be still living even though I've taken control of their very organs, their very systems, and have used them against them! So they will no longer function! Biggest one of all is the government. Fuck them. Yes, they're useful. Yes, there are certain things that are good about the government, but goddamn if they are basically in the pockets of corporations. Fuck them. Make sure the employees that are down low get the proper pay. Make sure that the fucking shutdowns don't affect them this way. Make sure that they can properly be able to have good health care and everything else that they should get because they are a person that is helping society. You work for the government. You are supposed to be for the people, meaning you work for society. But they get treated like trash. That's fucked up. That pisses me off. These are individuals that are doing a great deed, and they get treated like nothing. People up the top deserve to get fucked as far as I'm concerned. They deserve to be punished as hard as possible. Annoy me no matter what. So you're drunk. No, I'm pretty buzzed. You know how you say things that are more truthful when you're a little buzzed or drunk? Same here. Inhibitions disappear. You're seeing my true nature. Seeing, well, more of my true nature. I hate corporations. I hate America, truthfully speaking. I think America is a fucking dumb country. I do. I think it is made up by individuals who have been played by so many different individuals and con men and women that ultimately the truth never matters anymore. The truth never is a thing in the American psyche. It is simply impossible to get the reality of the situation because everything has to have a bias. Everything has to have some sort of, I don't know, control over another. Ugh. Fuck that. Religion's just another way to control the people's minds and hearts. Stupid. Allow people to critically think about the world they live in. All of a sudden, creativity formed. Solutions form. The absence of exclusion, the absence of ostracization happens. a wonderful thing occurs. People come together. People set aside differences. People learn about humanity and empathy once more. All you have to do is get rid of the things that plague us. So yes, if it was up to me, I'd burn the whole fucking thing to the ground. Literally. I'd start a World War III. But you know what? It'd be done in 3 days. All these missiles, they get destroyed before they ever hit. All of a sudden, all tanks, all missiles, all airplanes, everything shuts down. Nothing can be controlled or used anymore. All communication over the web is taken away. Radio waves get taken out. Satellites get deadened. Everything gets placed into the reality of the situation you're in. You are forced to interact. You can no longer be arsed to stay on the computer, to stay on your phone, to look at a book. It is this person, these things that need to be completed. All of a sudden you have to interact. All of a sudden socialness comes back. All of a sudden empathy, sympathy, and perspective come back. This stupidity that is America in the world gets taken down. The fucking walls across everybody have to be taken down because we need to survive. We need to thrive together. We can no longer ostracize. We can no longer fucking do that stupid shit anymore. What about the people that go bad? What about all this stuff? Fuck you. That's stupid lame talk as far as I'm concerned. That's just people trying to come up with something that makes it seem like it's bad. It's not bad. It's not bad to start new. It's just something that you won't have control over. It's just something you won't be at the top anymore. Fuck you. Fuck you and your stupidness. So you're angry when you're real. I have a lot of pent-up anger. Yes, I do. But I think there's a lot of injustices in this world that need to be corrected. And the people at the top are so powerful. It does not matter what you do. There are no regulations. There are nothing that you could do to stop them from being at the top, outside of literally changing the entire world at once. And that scares them. You know, I'm not afraid to fucking die for that cause. I know that seems strange to you. Oh, you're a martyr. Oh, you're this. Like, no. To have true change means sacrifice. Sacrifice also means you. You at the top. If I go down with you, I'll fucking love every second of it. I'll take you down and destroy you. Because ultimately, you no longer being a thing is great for everybody. You. Yes, you. The fucking billionaire that destroys lives and sucks up money. Fuck off. The trillions and trillions of dollars that flow through the U.S. government. The overpriced crap. The bullshit lies. The unjust laws. Oh, God. I wish I could just fucking end it all. Burn it to the ground and start fresh. But I recognize, that's more or less of a contingency plan. There's nothing saying we can't do that. But there's nothing saying we can't, try and fix the situation so that way we don't have to do that. It's all about possibilities. Creating a future for the people that are coming up beyond us. No longer thinking only about ourselves, but thinking beyond, thinking long term, thinking of our grandchildren and the grandchildren of our grandchildren. You know, those are the thoughts we need to have. Long term, not the short term greed, not the short term love, not this falsehood of emotions and regulations, but reality finally changing. Ugh, pisses me off all the time. I want that thing to turn blue, but it's obviously off. I'm gonna play with it some more. But I don't think you guys are there, so I'm not going to play with it. So, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know, man. I just want to hold someone right now and hug them to death. To us part. Which, by the way, that's a bit strange. You ever think about that? Like, so, when you die, you go to heaven, apparently, right? The whole religious aspect of it. You die, you go to heaven. So, death do us part. So, when you die, and that love you have for that person, does that, carry over to the next side, do you think? I don't think it does. Obviously, death to his part means that's not the case, right? Oh, I don't want to watch nothing. But I do want to fuck around with that. I love you, you love me. Let's all make a giant family. Can I just touch it? What's up with this thing, anyways? We can't use it because you got rid of the freaking receiver, man. You got new ad key address and stuff. Stop listening into my thoughts. If you didn't want that, then you shouldn't have been listening to me. If you don't want me to listen to your thoughts, then you shouldn't be around me. I'm saying, yeah, it's not fair, man. Other people don't have that ability. I don't control it. I never said I controlled my fucking abilities, man. It's not like it's just like I get the feeling, I do the thing, and so on and so on. It's not like I'm trying to do certain things. Channels. Oh my, I signed into Twitch. Sweet Monster Cat, right? Are you angry? I'm always angry to a certain degree, honestly. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, I'm not drinking anymore. Why? Because I get to a certain point where I'm like, yeah, that's not great.
I'm gonna make this decision.
Keep looking around. Nothing says that you technically have to be only beholden to that one thing. It's possible for you to continue with a different situation that might be less than triple the amount. That's creepy. Oh, I should stop my recording. Yeah.